Hey guys, Christina here. And yes, I'm doing a second video on my page today because apparently I was muted the whole time I filmed the first one. So here we go again. And it's ironic that that little technical difficulty happened during that first video because I started the video by saying, here I am, having helped the children wrap up their virtual school day. And once their virtual school day ends, my official work day can finally begin without me having to juggle those two things. And today was a particularly interesting school day, which just goes to show you that it was a stressful day. So here we are, take two on my tips that I learned from a recent webinar that I participated in. So let's get right into the meat of this video. I participated on a webinar recently with a senior account manager at Indeed. And the reason this is important is because we know that so many people are out in the job market trying to replace the work that they may have lost during this pandemic. So I wanted to come on and share with you a couple of important tips that were shared with me so that hopefully if you are out in the market and trying to find work in this environment, you can get a leg up and really stand out from the crowd, because let's face it, with unemployment where it is, there's a crowd that you're competing with for the work that is available. So let me dive in really quickly and give you first a couple of facts that were discussed. And before I do that, I have posted this on my website as a blog post as well, so you can find the details on menextyear.com. Go to my blog page, and it's the most recent post that's up there. So first of all, the job market increased by 1.4 million jobs since July. So the unemployment rate has dropped off from that April high of around 10%, and it's currently, last numbers we have, it's around about 8.4%. That means that more jobs are becoming available. However, you got to be selective about your industry. Hospitality is a tight space to find work. For obvious reasons, there are still a lot of heavy restrictions on hotels, restaurants, bars, all of the hospitality industry type establishments. So be mindful of that. However, education and health services are hiring 53 out of 100 jobs that are available per month. So better than 50% of the jobs that are out there that are actually being filled are in the education and health services sphere. And I'm sure you've seen the headlines in local news just like I have. School districts are definitely searching for teachers and substitutes. So if you've got any skills in those areas, brush them up, because there's absolutely a need for your help out there. So let's talk a little bit about sending in your resume and applying for that job. There are a lot of programs out there using artificial intelligence to screen those cover letters and the resumes for keywords before actually putting it in front of a human. So what you need to be mindful of, first of all, is to leverage the keywords. If you are looking at a job posting that has specific verbiage about that job, you need to include that in your resume. You've got to tailor your resume to that specific job posting. And the other piece of advice that the person from Indeed, his name is Drew. So if I say Drew, that's what I'm talking about. The other piece that Drew incorporated into this particular point was to be adaptable. And being adaptable sort of bleeds into all of this other advice. Be flexible. And what I think of when I hear be adaptable is not just trying to adapt the skills that you have to whatever the skill set is that that employer is looking for, but it also means we've all had the experience of being hired for a job that had this very particular job description. And then while we were working in the job, we either found it entailed more than what was described in that job description, or the job changes over time, or it's just not what we expected it to be. And in this environment, and I think in any environment going forward, with how quickly technology changes and how quickly we need to adapt to consumer habits, being able to shift what that role is that you play is going to be important. Another tip that we have is to answer specific questions. Is there a prompt or any recurring themes in that job description? So pay close attention to details and to your communication skills. For example, if there's a specific question on that application you need to answer, such as, what were your primary responsibilities in your last job? Your answer should be, my primary responsibilities in my last job included ... List them off. Because these computer software screeners are going to be looking for those keywords. They are going to have a program set up to say, we need resumes that include this word, that word, and this word. And you've got to make sure they're included in your paperwork. Next, we have to create a cover letter and watch for a word limit. So we know we're going to send a cover letter along with our resume because it's just a little bit more of a personal touch describing who we are and why we are interested in this particular organization. What is it about this organization that fits with my personal philosophy or work ethic or something like that? But think about the word limit. I have not often seen on job postings where they would impose or specify that there's a word limit for your cover letter. So I adapt this to say, stick with the 1-page rule. You're going to have 1 page worth of a cover letter and 1 page worth of a resume. And what I like to say, but I'm going to lead into this by saying, I hope I'm not offending anybody, but nobody's going to read your autobiography. Not yet, anyway. So the HR representative that does end up with your resume in front of them needs to be able to skim through it quickly. They are also looking for keywords and things that help you stand out as being a fit for that position. So you do not need to write a novel. 1-page cover letter, 1-page resume. Learn about the company's culture. Are there any perks? Is there community involvement? What is the dress code? I don't think we think much about things like dress code, but you know, when you're out to make an impression, at first you do want to fit in with the culture that this company or corporation portrays. You need to get them to believe that you are going to fit in with the image that they are looking for. It very much does feel like playing a role. So what I add to this is to be authentic about it. You do not want to try to make yourself something you're not, because in the long run, you won't be happy and the job may not go well. So understand the company's culture. Is it a jeans and t-shirts kind of place? Is it a suit and tie kind of place? Know what you're in for and be willing to adapt to that. And there's that word adapt again. Next, focus on your experience and highlight it. And I appreciate the phrase that Drew from Indeed used. He said, be a chameleon and be qualified. So what we're saying here is, again, I said this at the beginning of the video, you're going to have different resumes, not dramatically different, but you're going to tweak your resume and your cover letter for each individual company that you apply to. You are not going to send out a blanket cover letter and a blanket resume. So be a chameleon. Take your skills and modify them and mold them to fit the role you are applying for. And those are some things that will hopefully help you stand out from the crowd. A couple of bonus items that I can share tonight is to be professional publicly. And for me, that always brings to mind a lot of networking events, which for now are few and far between given the pandemic environment. But there are a lot of virtual networking events that you can still be involved in. So you may want to start hopping on some of those and brush up your speaking skills and brush up your presentation skills. And then the next bonus tip is to leverage social media. And I think it goes beyond just, utilizing LinkedIn or Indeed to find those opportunities and make connections. It goes right down, and we've heard this before, goes right down to your personal Facebook page. Start getting rid of some of the old photos or posts that are not becoming, I guess I could say, and just clean it up because employers are looking at your social media pages. So that's what I have for you tonight. Definitely let me know how it goes. And oh, hi, Mariah. Thank you. Made me feel so good. Let me know if these tips were helpful, because the next post that I put up, I'm going to share with you some interview tips, some things that I learned from Drew at Indeed that can, again, help you leave a mark, help you stand out. You want to be the memorable person in the room for all the right reasons. So stay tuned. I will have another video with that information soon. And that's all for me, folks. Have a great night.